We're moving on to the second topic, which is going to be from this gentleman in the beard.
Yeah, well, I wanted to talk about right now going on this year marks, and I know this is going to probably, for people who watch the videos, they're going to be like, oh, he's talking about this again.
You talked about Warcraft for 2 episodes, so you're good.
Well, it's like I think our viewers have finally know by now that I am a huge Final Fantasy fan.
Okay.
Really am. Really enjoy the series. Really enjoy the series.
I don't know. I think they could only see the top part that I was able to knock down the other day.
Most of my Final Fantasy stuff's over here.
Yeah.
But right now they're celebrating their 30th anniversary. Now there's not many game series out there.
How old are you?
I'm 31.
So how does it feel that a game
is younger than a game series younger than me?
Yeah.
That I love is younger than me. I don't know. I've grown up with them, so
it's kind of like me with Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's 20-year anniversary. I'm 22 this year, so.
Oh. Yeah, I know. Even like
I'm as old as Pokemon.
Yeah, like I mean, even games like Mario Kart 64, GoldenEye, a lot of games on the 64 are celebrating their 20th anniversary this year, and that just for me, it's just like, oh my god.
Yeah, Bomberman celebrated 20.
But yeah, I thought we'd talk about. I know you don't have much experience with Final Fantasy.
Yeah, mine's more about numbers. So until you let me know when you want to hear all that.
I know Quinn has played his fair share. And I just thought maybe we could talk about some of our favorite memories, favorite moments, just things that you've enjoyed or not have enjoyed about the series. Just for its 30th anniversary, because they're doing their big 30th anniversary sale right now on their website, and
I think Humble Bundle has something.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's just kind of, there's not many titles out there that aren't first party that are celebrating. That's not Nintendo.
Yeah.
That's celebrating 30 years.
Mm.
And so I just thought, what if we just talk about it for a little bit? Like favorite moments, things like that. Like I'll start out. Usually for me, moments are I like a good like twist, or I like a good character who doesn't quite reveal everything. I tend to gravitate to the characters that are more of the mystery characters.
Mm-hmm. So before we get into this,
yeah.
Do we need to have a spoiler warning?
No.
I mean, just in this. I mean, I'm just saying. At this point, 30 years, you should be able to play some of these
games are pretty old.
So the only game I'm not really gonna. Well, I don't.
Do we want to do this fan conversation where it is a little sprinkle of spoilers, or strictly
it's not gonna be anything you don't already know.
Okay, so there you go.
So like I think the feeling that I got, because the very first Final Fantasy I actually like played, spent time on was actually 7 back on the original PlayStation. And it's not one of my favorites, although it seems to be to the popular opinion. But I understand why. But it's not in my top 3. But that moment when Ares gets shish kebabbed, that was something that, let's see, how old was I? I think it was like 13, 97. I was 12. I was 12 or 13, and that hit me. That came out of nowhere, and I remember playing through it. Like I was visually, physically, like sad and upset because I had never played a game where you get so attached to a character that's not the protagonist, and then gone. And as I'm playing through the whole game, I'm like, she'll come back, right? This is a game. They're not going to do this. She'll come back. No, she doesn't. And later on, now as, I became an adult and I've played it a couple of times through, I'm like, I appreciate the fact that they didn't do that, because I bet you that's what, I'm sure it came up. Did we have her come back? But I applaud them for sticking to it and finishing the story with her dead, basically. Mm-hmm. And that has always stuck out to me, is in that they're willing to kind of take risks with their writing. They want to make sure that the story is at that top level of story writing. Now that's kind of hard to say with the past couple of games. Like I haven't played 15 yet. I'm waiting for them to finish it because I've heard the last couple chapters aren't technically finished, and I'm waiting for all the DLC so I can just binge it all in one go. I haven't played 14 just because I don't have a PC that I can play it. I don't have a PS4. If I had a PS4, I'd probably be playing it right now.
It's fun. I played it with my friend.
That's the MMO one.
Yeah, that's
the newest MMO.
Yeah. But a lot of my favorite moments though come from 11, and that's just because of the moments that I have with my friends. But I won't get into those because those aren't something our viewers can't possibly maybe relate to. You know what I mean?
They're watching this, so.
But it's always been the characters. I've always been attached to the characters that are more mysterious or ones that don't kind of give you their whole story. I think a good example is, even though I know I've mentioned it before, even though I don't particularly like 10 like at all, I think Lulu and Auron are some of the best characters in the game.
Lulu's like the witch-looking lady, and Auron's the swordsman, right?
Yeah,
the red swordsman.
Yeah, and I think the only reason why I gravitated to those two is because they hint that they have a past together, and they don't really give you their whole backstory. So there's this huge like aura of mystery around the two, and I think that's why I've always have liked that particular pair. It's the same thing in 12. I think because each Final Fantasy kind of has like their, I don't want to say like a couple, but like a pair that kind of usually like comes together. I don't think there was one I can't think of one in 10, but like in
Not even the main guy.
What, Titus?
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about like a couple. I mean like in Final Fantasy 12 you have like Fang and Vanille. They come up together, and then my favorite pair in the whole series is in 12, which is Fran and Balthier. I think, yeah, I know you looked right at my Fran figure. I loved those two together and their story and their dynamic. I love Balthier is like the perfect like. I don't want to say space pirate because they don't go to space, but he has like an airship. They're pirates, and Fran is just this mysterious, like just. I don't know if you want me to swear on here, but she's just this.
I mean,
awesome.
We've not sweared on the show for 4 episodes. I don't know if you want to have a sense.
She's just this awesome kicking all the butts character.
We'll keep it at a TV 14 rating. Yeah. We'll keep it at that.
And those characters in anime that don't say much, but when they do say much, you listen to them.
I guess.
You know what I mean?
I've only seen very few.
Or it's like the characters that never open their eyes, but when they open their eyes, stuff's about to go down.
Like Brock.
She's that kind of character, okay? Like those kind of characters in anime. She doesn't say much, but when she says something, like you listen to her.
Yeah.
And then if the mist, spoilers, if the mist comes around, you get out of her way, or she's just gonna destroy you. And I think that's one of the reasons why I really gravitate towards her, because she's got a really sad story, and she's just this monster of a character when it comes to just she can just wreck, and she's awesome. That's why I have $130 figure of her right here. I don't
That's
know if
the Play Arts figure, right?
That's the Play Arts Kai figure, yeah. I can put her in any realistic pose, and it's awesome.
Can you not bring it down?
Oh yeah, I'll bring it down.
See, it's different when you can do it.
So this one right here, I have her set up in this pose because I like it.
She's not on the.
Oh, that's okay. She kind of doesn't really stand, so. But yeah, her right there. She's one of my favorite characters in Final Fantasy, and not because she's some scanty-clad bunny lady. She's a really well-developed, fully fledged character.
She wasn't a lady though.
I mean, I like her design. It's cool.
But yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why 12 is one of my favorites, is because of her and Balthier. I did not like the main character, Vaughn. Oh, I wanted to be Vaughn. Just he's so annoying, but that's a whole other thing. But that for me, just those stories, the characters, the music, the settings. I think that Final Fantasy has always set this bar that they kind of get criticized for now because people say, oh, it's not as good as it used to be. And I think that's just because people hold them in this really high standard. And I think for gaming, I think that's a good thing to have that kind of a company that has that legacy that people can say, hey, you need to be this good or, we're going to get you for it. You know what I mean? Because you remember when 12 came out, oh, people were, oh, this is too linear, blah, blah, blah. Combat sucks. But I feel like the longer it's been out, more people have come to appreciate it more. Mm-hmm. Once people started to stop bashing on it and give it a fair try.
So what about you, Quinn? What are your Final Fantasy stories?
Well, I just gotta say right out of the way that I haven't played and completed a lot of the main Final Fantasy games, because I've just never been a huge fan of them. Like I played all the way through 3, and I hated that game. I absolutely hated it. And I'm speaking like actual chronological 3, the remake on the DS. And then I played 4. I like 4 because I think Cecil looks cool. He's the transformation because he starts off as like a dark knight, and then he turns into a paladin.
Yeah,
paladin.
Paladin's
it
the
is
term, yeah.
Okay. And it's just a really cool moment in the whole game. But I haven't beaten 9, but from what I played so far, I really like 9 because it's back to its sort of roots as like a sort of high fantasy, like all these like airships and stuff like that. Not to say that the later games don't have that, but like 7 is like a lot darker and grittier, in comparison. Whereas if you look visually,
it's a little bit cloudy.
Yeah, it's a little bit cloudy.
Proceed.
Whereas 9 is just like beautiful fantasy sort of looking game.
I love 9. That's my favorite on the.
And I love the characters in 9. The characters are awesome so far.
This guy right here.
Yeah, that's Zidane, right?
Yep, Zidane. He's one of my favorite protagonists. He's hands down. What's that?
You might have to lift him up. I'm not sure what the shot looks like.
I have the Zidane little figure. I also have Squall as well, but I didn't like it. Squall from 8, but I didn't like 8, but Rebecca did, so we picked up Squall too.
He's got a gun blade.
Yeah. Yeah.
But actually, I don't know if you guys knew this, but I've played a lot of the spin-offs and stuff like that, like Crystal Chronicles,
Kingdom
Tactics. I guess if you want to say that's a spin-off. And I played Final Fantasy 4 Heroes of Light, which is on the DS, which I don't think a lot of people have played. It's a pretty fun just RPG game. It's supposed to be like a pop-up storybook. So when
Which one?
4 Heroes of Light.
Is that the one that they're bringing to the Switch?
There's one coming to the Switch?
There's a Final Fantasy game that comes to the...
That's supposedly what it is. My friend said it was actually a
new
successor to Bravely Default, though. Because Bravely Default is actually a spiritual successor to 4 Heroes of Light, but it's not a Final Fantasy game.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, because I remember when they were doing... Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but when they were doing the Switch announcement back in, like, July or whatever, and then they had that stream, they showed that Final Fantasy game that was, like... It was like a 2D platformer,
that's
but
not,
in
is that
3D.
That's not Project Octopath, is that?
No.
Oh, okay, that's a different game.
That's something else. But I just continue.
And so I played a lot of Bravely Default, and I like those games a lot because it's very similar to 9. It's got the sort of, they got the chibi art style because of graphic limitations of the 3DS, which I don't mind. And I love the art and character designs in those games. And also the mechanic, because you can control time in the flow of. It's a turn-based RPG, but if you want to, you can spend like these points that you accrue over time to stop time in the battle, so you can stop the enemy phase from them attacking you, and then you can attack right away, and you skip their battle phase.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's
I like
pretty
that.
awesome.
I get it. It's like haste, but better.
And also, each character has like signature abilities that you can upgrade and customize, and each character has their own theme song that like plays. It's not as good in 2 because it's a different music producer.
Mm-hmm.
But in one, it was a lot more. They had like when you heard their theme, it fit their personality. It was like so cool, and you're supposed to chain those so like their songs can like go into each other and stuff like that.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, it's really they're
That's
fun
cool.
games. That's why I bought them because they're kind of going up in price now.
Yeah, I haven't gotten into the Bravely Default or the Bravely series. What were they called?
Bravely Default and Bravely
yeah.
Second, which is it's the second game, but it's also because the ability where you stop time is called the Bravely Second.
Oh, I got you. Because I know Rebecca was thinking about getting. I know Rebecca was thinking about getting Bravely Default for her 3DS, and I was like, oh, if you got that, I might try it, but we never picked it up. So.
Yeah, it's pretty standard, at least in the first one, because you gotta go to the crystals and purify them and stuff.
It's the very Final Fantasy.
It's the Final Fantasy, but I always loved those games. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I don't have very much experience with Final Fantasy other than playing of what I did. What I did with 10. I did play 10. I played maybe like a half an hour of it, and I was like, no, I don't.
You're like, this is great.
Any of this. I don't like any of this. I don't like this stupid sport thing, the sport ball thing. I don't know what this ball thing.
Blitzball. I never. I only played the one part where you had to play it, and then I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm not doing that again.
The constant interruptions of me just walking down a path, and all of a sudden, an enemy encounter. I'm like, all right, well, I'm on a path. I didn't see anyone. And like, I don't know, because as a Pokemon fan, I know in the grass, that's where the people are.
Mm-hmm.
When I don't know where anything's at, and then all of a sudden, boom, I'm like, dude, I just want to get to the freaking tower thing. Just let me get to the tower.
Can I actually interrupt real quick? One great thing about Bravely Default, you can change difficulty at any time, which affects how much experience you get, and you can change enemy encounter rate.
Oh.
I did. What was the other thing I really like about Bravely Default is the permadeath, because it could change the whole entire story. If isn't there like a permadeath? Is it?
Oh no, that's
or what's the one?
That's Fire Emblem.
That's Fire Emblem.
Yeah, where if the characters die,
that's
they
right.
stay dead.
What was that Fire Emblem one?
Any Fire Emblem game?
Any Fire Emblem.
No, it's always like that.
That's what it's known for.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know about that part.
Yeah, I think there's a reason why there's like 30 playable characters in the game.
Well, Bravely Default and Fire Emblem, which one came out at that time, came out at the same time, and I would always get them mixed up.
Oh, because they looked second, and then Birthright and Conquest.
Yeah, it was probably Fire Emblem, Birthright, and Conquest, because those came out at the same time.
I think it was Birthright, because I got because when I was looking at them, I'd always go, oh wow, that game looks great, and then I would and I went to GameStop, I was like, oh, I don't know which one this was. So if I get them mixed up, now you know, because I'm stupid on that. But anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so 10, I just couldn't do it. And then so I went into GameStop. This was when the anniversary edition of 10 was coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, hey, I've never played Final Fantasy. I know the whole big hubbub about 10's anniversaries out for PlayStation 3. Is it worth getting? The guy goes, yeah, if you know, I go, what's a good Final Fantasy to get into? And he's like, well, you know, it really doesn't matter. They're never connected. They're all different.
In terms of the story, it doesn't
he
matter.
goes, I like 10. Is my favorite. I'm like, okay. Well, what about this Lightning game? Like, this one's out for 360. Can I get this one? And he's like, no. People have said that one's not that good, or he said it wasn't that good, something like that. And
so you bought it anyway?
No, I bought 10. I bought 10 and 10 too. It was like a double pack.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, this game looks great. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what the whole freaking point of it is. Find Dad. It's like, all right, well, I don't know where Dad's at. But then, and then to have Johnny Test as your main character there, I just couldn't do it.
Wait, was he really voice acted by Johnny?
Yes, look it up. So I'm really good at picking out voices. That's why I know who Troy Baker is. That's why I knew that Camilla Luddington was in there. So usually when there's a good voice actor, it's usually tied to a really good game. Johnny Test is on that verge of, well, you could slip a fart joke in there and it's called comedy. So it's on the edge of like, I don't really like it. So when I found out when I heard the voice, I'm like, oh no, where have I gone wrong in this whole situation? Yeah. And so started hearing it, and then I got to the laughing scene, and the guy at GameStop, he's like, just have dubbed. It's terrible, but just listen to it until you get to the laughing scene, and then after that, you can go switch to subbed. I'm like, okay, I don't know what that was. Yeah. He goes, you'll know. Yeah. I go, it is so painfully awkward of a laugh because it's fake. It is so fake. And you're like, I cannot stand this. And it goes on for like maybe 5 minutes of them. The girl starts laughing, and then Titus starts laughing, and then all the other characters, and you're like, I just can't. Yeah, I couldn't skip it either. Yeah. So
I just recently got a coworker of ours hooked on Final Fantasy.
From playing what? What did they play first?
So they never played Final Fantasy before. They were talking to me. They're like, I'm interested in playing Final Fantasy. Which one should I play? And I asked her. I said, okay, well, what consoles do you have? She says, well, I got a PlayStation 4, a PlayStation 3, and a PS2 that's not hooked up. And I was like, okay, I'm going to let you borrow Final Fantasy 13-2. So she played through. She spent a week playing it, and I told her, I'm going to let you borrow this game.
But I want it back.
Well, no. Because I do have the special collector's edition of it with the soundtrack and the little art book in it. And so I let her borrow it. She loved the combat. She actually loved the game. But I handed it to her and I said, okay, so this game is fantastic, but when it starts getting into the moments to where they start talking about how changing the future changes the past. Yeah, exactly. I said, you just got to let it go and just go with it. And she was like, yeah, other than those moments, like the game was fantastic. And now she wants to play more. And so now I might let her borrow my copy of Final Fantasy 12. So it all depends on what console. I always ask the person, what console are you going to play it on? Yeah. If they're going to play it on the PS3 or the 360, I always tell them, go get 13.2. 13.2, in my opinion, is the best on that console.
Well, let's see what the people around the world thought. These are the top 10 best-selling Final Fantasy games. I have them all here. This is all from VGCharts.com. I thought it was like, it's a weird website, but then I also found that Guinness also did the best-selling one, and it was the same. It was the same exact number. So I will take this with a grain of salt. Number 1. Actually, do you want me to go from bottom to top? We go bottom to top.
Go bottom to top.
Okay, number 10 is Final Fantasy 13-2 with 2.96 million copies.
That's not. I don't think that's bad.
These are not bad numbers.
No, I bought one of them. Like I said, I think that game is the best on that console generation.
Did you have 13-2? No,
I never. Had
you were not
Xbox
a part of this 2. That was on Xbox 360.
Yeah, that was on 360. Yeah, that was on
exclusive.
No, it was on 3. No, it was on 360 PS3.
I didn't have a PS3 either.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was gonna say, I was like, whoa, hold on.
No.
Square totally backed out of that. Okay, number 9 is Crisis Core Final Fantasy 7.
Oh, that's fantastic.
3.7 million units.
That game made me cry.
So, what's the difference between this and 7?
So this is Crisis. So this is like a prequel
it's
to
how
7.
Cloud gets his sword and stuff, right?
It's the story leading up to where 7 begins.
So you like this one, but you hate 7.
I don't hate 7. I like 7. Okay, I like 7. I don't want you to think I hate 7. I like 7. It's not my favorite.
Okay.
But I don't dislike it. I don't feel the way I feel for 10 and 8 is not including 7.
Okay, I thought 7 was in that category.
My bottom 2 is 10 and 8, and then my top 3 are 12, 11, and 9. Okay. And then 7 is like it'd probably be my top 5, but I always say my top 3.
Well, at number 8 is 6 and 3.
They're kind of tied.
3.42 million.
Oh, that's
now hold on. Is that because are you talking?
Yeah.
Super Nintendo, it was released as
3. Oh, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
but it was
I don't know.
6.
Yeah, it's Final Fantasy 6 in Japan was released as Final Fantasy 3 in the U.S.
Okay, and that's when you were saying the 2 thing, or no, you were saying 3.
That's why
you
I meant true 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This whole
that
timeline thing is all messing me up.
A lot of people get that mixed up.
Yeah, and that's okay.
I'm not a Final Fantasy fan.
Yeah, and Final Fantasy 6. If you're on a Super Nintendo, is the one to go with, in my opinion.
Oh, Yeah.
You played it on both?
I played a little bit of it. That game
you can
is
also
really cool.
you can also get it on get it on your phone.
Is
you
it
can get it
different?
It just has a fantastic story.
So it is a different thing.
What do you mean?
Like as opposed to the 3 on the 3DS or in the DS, is it the same thing?
No. 3 on 3DS is actual 3.
It's literal 3.
No, but what I'm saying is I thought you were saying they changed something.
No.
Okay, all right. So it's the same story.
But he's just saying if you can play it on the
that's
Super
what
Nintendo.
I'm asking. What's the is it just because this is its true form? Or
that was the one it was really released on.
So you're saying it's better to play on the true form than it is to play
No. I'm saying it's the best Final Fantasy for the Super Nintendo cycle.
That's what I'm.
That's what I mean.
Right.
For like Sega Genesis, well, it wasn't on Sega Genesis.
I didn't know if they like had modified it in some way.
No.
Where you're like, hey, this is
like you can get it on your phone now. You can get it, I think, on the 3DS.
It's on Game Boy Advance.
You can get it. Yeah, you can get it on all different ones. But if you're looking for one if you're looking for in my opinion, the best one that came out in the Super Nintendo era is 6.
Okay. Number 7, Final Fantasy X-2.
I never played that one.
5.29 million copies.
I regret buying that game.
That game comes with 10.
It comes with
I mean, in the PS3, in the PS3 version.
I chose not to play that because when I saw it, all I saw was fan service. That's all I saw.
You didn't want to play Charlie's Angels, the game?
No.
Oh, okay.
That game makes me
I
cry.
remember seeing.
A little part of you dies inside every time the PlayStation loads up.
Yeah, I remember watching a friend play and like, here, I'll start a new game so you can watch it. And I saw the opening cutscene where like Yuna is like a pop star, and I'm like, nope. No, thank you.
That part made me cringe so bad.
Yeah.
That whole every dialogue, every ounce of every minute I played that game made me want to just throw my Vita out the window.
Oh, you played it on Vita?
Yes, I played it on Vita.
Oh, yeah, that's right. 10 and 10-2 did come out on Vita. That was the whole thing. It was PS3 and Vita. Number 6, Final Fantasy 9 with 5.30 million units.
That's like I said, that was in my top 3. If people are looking for one for the PSX era, I think that's people always say, oh, play 7. I always say, no, play 9. I always tell people play 9.
Now we're in the top 5. Number 5, Final Fantasy 12 with 5.95 million copies.
I will probably say that one is probably my number 1.
Number 1?
Yeah.
Well, that's not because we got 4 more.
Well, I will like not including. Okay. Let me change that. For me, I think the MMO is always going to be a bar above everything else, just because that's a whole like 4 years of my life on that game with my friends, and so that one was always going to be probably my greatest experience in a Final Fantasy game. But for the single player experience, I think 12 is, in my opinion, just top shelf.
Would you agree?
Have you played 12?
I haven't gotten a chance to play 12. I wanted to because ever since I was a little kid and I saw.
Do you have a PlayStation? do you have a PlayStation 2 that works? Oh,
no,
I do.
My PS2 went down the shutter hole when I was exiled. I don't want to get into details.
You can stream it for them if you want. I have PlayStation 2. I got the Elgato.
Maybe.
Okay, all right. Final Fantasy 13 with 6.90 million copies.
I enjoyed it.
You said it was your favorite.
13? No.
Oh,
that's 12.
12. Oh wait, no, the MMO one. You said the MMO was the next bar.
Yeah, but that's 11. The MMO is 11.
What? Okay, so 13 is. I don't even care anymore. Like
13 was.
Just stop naming them. Just call them MMO 1.
No, 11 was the first MMO. Final Fantasy 11 was the first MMO, and then 12.
So you're saying 13 is not an MMO?
No, 14 is the
13
MMO.
13 is with Lightning, the pink chick.
What? Oh, that's right. That's the Xbox one.
And
that's the only. That's the only Xbox one we've gotten. I know what she looks like.
Check it out.
Pink.
That's his
sister.
13. Yeah.
I have the nice book. Guys for
that one I wanted to buy because I thought she looked cool, but apparently it's not that good of a game. So.
No,
but it's 6.90 million units at number 4.
I thought it was a good game. I thought it was a good Final Fantasy game. I don't know why people were hating on it so much because it's just as linear as 10 was, literally. In 10, you just go in a straight line, basically, and the map just...
No, you get interrupted every 2 seconds with an enemy.
Yeah, but in this one, you can see them, so you can avoid them.
I bought the wrong game.
I did like 13. I got all of the achievements except one, which didn't allow me to get the platinum, and the one that I didn't get was... the one where you have to have every single item in your inventory at one point at one moment, and I'm like, I'm not going back and getting all that stuff again just to do that. But I got everything else in it. I spent a good 100+ hours on that game. I really liked that one, and it kind of frustrated me that people were just bashing on it so hard, because everything they were bashing on it for, you could say the exact same thing about Final Fantasy X.
Comment section below.
You know? Oh, it's too linear. It doesn't open up till the end. It's like
I heard about. Like I think I was watching Petty Arcade. One of their things they do. They had the Penny Arcade the series was they were talking about how two of their people were saying they had put 40 hours into the game, and then that's when the game really opens up.
Yeah.
But it's like 40 hours into the game. That is a long investment.
Yeah.
But they enjoyed it.
Yeah.
They enjoyed it.
I mean, I think the story was all right. I think Fang was my favorite character. In that whole series, probably because she's the Dragoon, and I have a soft spot for the Dragoon character types.
I like the black guy with the chocobo in his hair.
Oh, Zaz.
That guy. I love that guy.
The Dragoon character type in Final Fantasy games are the people that you see with the lances.
Yeah, the Dragoons are cool.
Uh-huh.
Actually,
Yeah.
that was one of my favorite classes as a kid. Because in 3 they can I don't know if it's like that in other games, but they can jump up and then come back.
No, those are their signature moves. Is their jump abilities.
Speaking of number 3, we're in the top 3 because 3 was already announced. Final Fantasy VIII with 7.86 million units sold.
Yeah, I didn't like that one.
Final Fantasy VIII?
I did not like.
Not a lot
8.
of people talk about this. This 8 one.
Yeah, it's one of those love or hate, I think. It's one of those. I don't know many people in the middle, but I don't like it. I didn't like the combat system.
See, I have a feeling
the story.
This one got the we'll get to it. I'll explain it in a second.
Yeah.
At number 2 is Final Fantasy X with 8.5 million copies sold.
Yeah, I think that has to. It doesn't surprise me, but here's the thing: is this was the first one on the PS2, and so
graphically it looks way better.
Well, yeah, but usually the ones I have noticed with the Final Fantasy series is that the ones that are the first released for a console tend to do well, and they tend to be the favorites because they're for a lot of people they're the introduction to the series.
Got it.
I think that's why a lot of people hold 7 and 10 on these pedestals, because for those people, it was probably their first Final Fantasy game. And so just the huge nostalgia factor for them is just off the roof for them. But that's what I have noticed when it comes to talking to Final Fantasy fans.
What, you want my opinion of it? I don't know. I already said he's got a gun sword. What else is there to say?
Yeah.
And at number 1 is Final Fantasy VII with 9.72 million copies sold, depending on how you ask, who you ask. But Guinness said this. This is from Guinness World Records. Yeah. Final Fantasy VII has sales of 9.72 million copies worldwide as of August 21st, 2014. It's the second best-selling game on the PlayStation 1, which was beaten by Gran Turismo, which had 10.85 million copies, and that's from Wikipedia. Yeah. And is one of the best-selling console games of all time.
Yep.
Now I went. Okay, you want to talk about 7?
Well, I'm not gonna dispute that or anything. I think 7 is.
Do you think 7 is a 7?
Oh, I think 7's probably an 8 or a 9 in terms of rating. It's a good game. It's just not one that I particularly hold myself in such high regards as everybody else does.
See, I have the feeling that the reason why 8 is up so high is because 7 was
oh yeah, definitely.
Everyone was like, yeah, well, I want to get 8.
Oh yeah. Now here's the thing with
9's
8.
all the way down here at 6.
I didn't play 8 till I was in my 20s, but I do remember I did watch a friend of mine play through a good majority of 8, and I will say watching somebody play it was okay. But when I went through and played it myself, it was just I was having a real hard time. I don't know if it was clunky. I didn't like the combat system. I felt like it was a huge reliance on the avatars for the fights. The story was a mess in my opinion. I didn't really find myself attached to any of the characters.
I can't think of anyone from that game besides.
I can picture how they all look, but the only name that I can even think of is Squall. Oh, and Renoa. Renoa is the girl.
Okay.
Squall and Renoa. Like, I will say that one, the ballroom scene, that everybody is familiar with it. Like, that's a nice scene, but I don't know. I feel like, for me, I think the biggest issue I have with, in particular with 10 and 8, is their love story I feel is very forced on you. It feels unnatural, and it feels very, like, thrown down your throat. Because, like, yeah,
of the game, of the little I've played of it, yes, that is very.
Yeah, I feel like they're really pushing you to be like, ship these two are supposed to be together, and there really isn't much chemistry or development built up between the two to sustain that. And I feel like, because in 10, when you hit that one scene, and everybody knows the scene I'm talking about, where Yuna and Titus are in the little pool of water together. You didn't get there because you weren't far enough. And I don't know what they do. It's very, yeah, it's very, like, leaves a lot up to your imagination. But I felt like, I was like, this is out of nowhere.
They kids? Aren't they like teenagers?
They're like teenagers, yeah. But I'm like, this is out of nowhere.
Oh, gross.
Because I remember when it happened, it's like their relationship at this point in the story is not at this point. Like, this doesn't make sense. I'm like,
hey, you don't know. Maybe they're always
down to sometimes when you're in a pool of water with someone that you like, you just gotta go for it.
You gotta seize your opportunity at this point.
You're like, when will I ever have another chance to do this?
We're alone. We're in the hot tub. There's no one else around.
But yeah, I just wanted to get that.
It's time to make something else. Anyway, now we're moving on to there's, just so you know, the #1 best-selling game of all time. I tried getting to see what Guinness World Records had got going on here.
Do you know which Final Fantasy game has made Square Enix the most money?
No, what?
The
MMOs?
The Final Fantasy 11 has made them the most money.
All right.
Yeah.
So I tried looking up, because Guinness said it's one of the best-selling games of all time.
Yeah.
Now, I was wanting to challenge them on this one.
Yeah.
I went to Wikipedia, looked up the top best-selling games of all time. They come nowhere close because, Tetris is on multiple platforms. It's on everything. 495 million copies of Tetris have been sold.
Doesn't surprise me.
Minecraft is sitting at #2, which is amazing.
Yeah.
To see a modern day game at 122 million copies sold.
Well,
Microsoft is happy about that one.
Well, let me tell you this. How many copies of Minecraft do you own?
I own
5.
How many times I've bought it?
Yes.
Okay. I bought it
this
on
is the thing. Yep.
Vita. On you gave me Xbox One copy,
yep.
But I got a 360 copy before that.
Uh-huh.
And then no, I didn't buy mobile.
Yeah, that 3. I feel like a lot of those copies are people buying multiple copies.
And which leads us into #4. I can't remember what #3 was. I think it was it was some series that I was like, oh, it was Wii Sports. I was like, no, that does not count.
That's bundled with the system. Yeah. That doesn't count in my opinion.
But at #4 was Grand Theft Auto 5, which has 75 million copies sold. Yeah. And I bought that game. I bought it 3 times.
I only bought it once, and that was on the day one.
You still have it?
I have it for the 360.
Yeah. See, I have it 360. Then I sold that, got the Xbox One copy, got rid of that, and then I have it on PC now.
Yeah, I don't really have the desire. Like, I did everything. I got it to 100% on the 360, and then I did what I wanted to do online. Yeah, so I haven't had any desire to get it on the one. So.
But then at number 18 is the game that we all play. It's Overwatch.
18. We go straight from 4 to 18.
Yeah, because the other ones I didn't really care. I was like, what other games do we play? None of these. They're like Nintendo games. There's like Pokemon is on there several times, and they bundle X and Y together, and they're still on that board, which is, good for them. But 25 million copies of Overwatch have been sold, and that game's only been out last year. It's not even been a year.
Yeah.
So I decided, okay, those are the games. I wanted to see the hardware. I was just getting numbers now at this point. This is of same from VG Charts, so I'm assuming videogamecharts.com. It is from February 25th to 2017. The 3DS is still number one at 64 million units sold. The PS4 is the same amount as all of the Final Fantasies sold at 55.9 million units.
So these are just for the consoles that are out right now.
Yes.
Okay.
As
so
of February.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
And then Xbox One, because we already talked about the other stuff. Like
Right.
I think we talked about Wii and PlayStation 2 and how they're number one. Xbox One at 28.7 million million units, and then PS Vita at 15.4 million units, which is sad to see Xbox One and PS Vita right next to each other. And then Wii U at 13.9 million units. That's even more sad because that means a hardware home console was outsold by a PS Vita of a company that literally does not support that.
Well, it's out of production, so.
Actually, they both might be
out
at
of
the time,
production.
it was February. It was still technically.
Wii U was out of production. Still.
Probably.
It was out of production since last year.
That's true. Because it was during Black Friday. They did all that nasty business. But anyway, that's all the stats I got for you.
Yeah. I'm just glad that
I hate 10.
I'm just yeah.
I like that the cherry on top of the sundae.
Let us know in the comments about how much you love 10 and how wrong we are.
And how much you would love to be in a pool with someone you like.
That you've only known for 4 days. Jeez.
But yeah, as a gamer, I'm thankful that the Final Fantasy series has been around.
30 years.
Yeah,
I think 30 more? 60-year anniversure?
Probably, I wouldn't put it past them.
Okay.
Because
I don't know.
well, it's one of the, it's not one story, so they can just pump out new games every couple years. Like
I think the games always look beautiful. I just never.
I think they've always have set a standard graphically, musically, and they used to set the standard for the story. I think it's been kind of lackluster recently, but they used to set the bar, especially for the JRPG. And I feel like the game industry is better for that. We wouldn't have a lot of games right now if it wasn't for Final Fantasy. And so I just wanted to just talk about it for a little bit.
We did. You thought this was the topic we weren't going to talk about for very long. We've talked about it for almost a half hour.
Yeah. So that was that. I just wanted to touch light. They're 30 years old now.
And this is a 30-minute episode. Ladies and gentlemen, please comment down below what you guys think your favorite Final Fantasy is. Damn. And tell them how they're wrong in what they believe in.
Yeah.
We're moving on to our third and final topic.